Landi from Goodnight. This whole month we've been talking newborns, and today I want to talk a little bit about soothing your newborn, helping your newborn to settle when they're really fussy or crying or struggling to fall asleep. It can be sometimes tricky for a newborn to soothe or to settle because there's just so much happening, and inevitably newborns are easily overstimulated because everything around them is new. So when you're trying to soothe your baby, you have to think about creating filters, creating these mechanisms to help them to cope with all this new stimulus around them. A very famous pediatrician from the US, actually, Dr. Harvey Karp, he developed the 5 S's, and I like to call these creating those filters. Why? So babies don't have any filters, so they really like taking every single stimulus, and that's what causes them to actually start and become overstimulated, and we have to create those filters. Luckily, they do have some natural filters, like they can't see too far. It's to help them cope with all this new information that has to be processed by their brain. So when you want to soothe your baby, you want to create these filters. I remember back at when my daughter was 2 years old, she would see every single plane that flew over. And now she doesn't anymore because her brain has created a filter. You have seen enough planes. Done. So she doesn't see every single thing. And newborns don't have any filters. So to help them to soothe, we need to create those filters. And that's like, for instance, often moms tell me, oh, my newborn baby loves the fan that's up in the air, and your baby can't soothe when they're seeing that fan the whole time. So they're thinking, fan, fan, fan. And they can't actually soothe or fall asleep when, they're thinking about this fan that's turning the whole time. That's why you want to put a little light blanket over your shoulder while you're trying to get your child to sleep to help them to create that filter. So that they're like, oh, I have to think of calm, 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 not fan, fan, fan. The same with the light. There's a light, 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 especially the blinking lights of a monitor. They're thinking light, 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 and they're not thinking calm, calm, calm. So you want to create those filters. And the 5, we call these the 5 S's. Kind of added an additional one and calling it the 6 S's. The first one is swaddling your baby. So the swaddle helps, and I haven't yet met the baby that does not like swaddling. Don't be fooled. If your baby likes to be held in your arms, they like to be swaddled because holding them in your arms is like a giant flesh swaddle. So they like to be swaddled. And it doesn't help them to soothe, it just helps them to concentrate in calming down. So it's creating that filter for their movement. The next one is side stomach. When you're holding your baby, hold their stomach against your stomach, not completely flat on their back. Obviously, when you put them down in the cot, you're always going to put them down on their back because that's the safest and does prevent sits or reduces the chances of sits. And when you put them down, always feet first and then their head. Okay? But when you're trying to soothe them in your arms, stomach against stomach, so that their head kind of goes into your arm here, and it helps them also with their motor reflex so that they don't feel like they're falling. It's in some ways mimicking the womb, so recreating womb-like circumstances as well to help them to soothe. The third one is shushing. The blood running through your veins while they were in your belly was as loud as standing in a shower. Shh. Shh. So try to create a filter for sounds so that they don't hear tick, tick, tick of a clock, but they can actually concentrate on soothing themselves. By the way, don't have a clock that tick, tick, ticks in their room because they hear that intensely and because they don't have a filter for it. So white noise is very beneficial for small babies. The next one is swinging or rocking them. They do like that when your belly, the movement helps them. Also the rhythmic movement. They don't like this and this and this. And so have you ever seen a newborn mom? Now they do this, now they do this. They take up to 10 minutes to process what you're doing. So up until 10 minutes, same kind of rhythmic movement to help create a filter for the movement as well. The final S is sucking. This they can get through breastfeeding, the bottle, also dummy. It does help to calm them, because it's a very strong innate nature that they have to help them to soothe when it comes to sucking. My final S I always like to add is skin on skin. If all else fails and you're really struggling to calm down your baby, do try skin on skin. Take off all their clothes except for their nappy, take off your clothes and just put them on your chest and enjoy that breathing, rhythmic breathing, because it does help them. These 5 S's, some babies need all 5 S's. Some only need 1. Some need none sometimes. Some days you just feed your baby and they will sleep. And other times if they're really overtired, overstimulated, you will require all of those 5 S's. I hope this will help. Please keep in mind that top tips, 10 minutes to process. So when you're trying to soothe them, try up till 10 minutes to help them before you change your technique. And also once you've put them down, they can fall asleep completely. This is newborns in your arms. And once they're asleep, you can put them down and you can put them down feet first in their swaddle to help the transfer. Once they're done, shh, 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 and then they will sleep. I hope this has helped you. And as always, if you struggle, you know who to call. Good night.